Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMORPG about Star Wars Old Republic period that came out back in 2011 that is still active in the year 2020. As you may know, Star Wars The Old Republic or SWTOR is an MMORPG based on the Star Wars universe, and at the moment it is an only MMORPG based on the Star Wars universe. So I started playing this game back in 2013 or 2014, I don't remember exactly, and I instantly fell in love with this game because this game is probably still one of the only MMORPGs that is fully voice acted and has an amazing storyline. And if you're in love with the Star Wars universe, you will simply love the Star Wars The Old Republic, because there is no game in existence that shows Star Wars universe as deep and as complex as Star Wars The Old Republic. You will see the Star Wars universe from all the different sides. But here is the question: is this game that came out 9 years ago still worth it to play in 2020? So as my story goes with this game, I've been on again, off again, on with this game back in 2014, 2017, and now in the year 2020, I decided to get back because of the world pandemic situation. There's double XP month going in this game. I decided to give it a try to see whether it's still good enough or not, and I wanted to go through all the storylines that I didn't go back in the past. And I can safely say that this game is far better compared to what it was back in 2011, and let's just talk about it. So first, before we're gonna go through any deep details into the game, let's talk about the pricing model, because this is the thing that people don't know exactly what to expect from this game, because it has been changed quite a lot. And now I'm gonna just show you and tell you what this game is actually like price model wise. So game is free to play, meaning that you can go and start game free to play without any money, without any problem, and you can go with ease all 8 class storylines for absolutely free. All the rest storylines that comes after the class storylines, which is level 50 to 75, is under the paywall DLC, so you cannot play them unless you've paid for them. But the game has a subscription model as well, so if you pay $15 a month, you get a bunch of additional perks like additional storage, like all the limitations will be gone, and plus you'll have an access to all the DLCs as well that came out since 2011 till the day you subscribed, which is simply amazing. And what is most important, if you will subscribe to this game only once for 1 month, you will gain an access as a preferred status, and you will be able to play all the DLCs for absolutely free, even if you will not subscribe to the moment. I mean that in order to unlock all the DLCs, you need to be subscribed for only 1 month, and you will have unlocked all the DLCs that came out prior to your subscription. And when you stop your subscription, you will become a preferred status, which is just a bit better than just a free to play. So is it good to play as a free to play gamer? Well, I can safely say that yes, it is pretty good. You can play this game if you enjoy the story of the MMOs, and if you want to enjoy the story of the game, it is absolutely fine. There is so much things to do as an absolute free to play player that you'll probably get bored of the game, and you will not want to play this game anymore before you will go through all the content. Not that you will get bored of this game. I'm not saying that this game is boring, but you will go through a lot of things before you would want to pay subscription fee or you would want to buy any additional DLC. Plus, just one-time payment of $15 I think is pretty good price for the extreme amount of DLC and content that you can get after you unlock all the things that come out after the class storylines. Okay, before we'll get to actual story and gameplay and etc, let's talk about one very important thing. Whether this game is good for solo players or you need to play this game as a social player like any other MMORPG. Well, I can safely say that this game is very good for any type of player, whether you are just a solo player or you are a group player, because majority of the game's content, like absolute majority of the game's content, is absolutely soloable, and you can go through it without any problem if you play it completely alone. You don't need anybody to go through probably 90% of the game, and you can go through it without any problem. And trust me, when I say 90% of the game, it is a huge amount of content, like immense amount of content. The rest 10% of the game that that you need other players to go through is extremely simple as well, because you can just find any group with an activity finder without any problem within the game, without contacting anybody, without talking to anyone, and you just can queue to operations and flashpoints that are group operations and flashpoints that we're gonna talk about this a bit later, and you can go through it without any problem. So playing this game solo, absolutely no problem. Playing this game in a group, amazing experience as well, because when you play the game in a group, all the group members will be in a cutscenes, which is amazing. You can have, and we will have an ability to affect the story based on rolling system, etc, etc. So you will have a lot of fun playing in a group or the solo. Okay, now let's go to the meat of the game, which is the story. Story of the Star Wars: The Old Republic is probably its most important and powerful part, and the only thing probably that you should look forward to while starting this game, because this game story is simply stunning, deep, and amazing. You will have an 8 class stories. I'm gonna be talking mainly about 8 class stories. I'm not gonna be going deep into the DLC stuff because it comes a bit later. But the first 50 levels is an 8 class story. Each and every class had its own separate story that is completely independent from each other. Every single class has completely independent stories. You will have 4 classes for Empire and 4 classes for the Republic, and it is extremely interesting stories. And of course, some storylines are better than the other ones, but I can safely say that I played through 7 of an 8 stories, like completely, and I only story that I didn't play was the Smuggler story, and I can safely say that they are all good, but some are better than the others. Just to give you a sum up, the roundup of what the stories are, not without any spoiler, just to give you an understanding what type of stories there are, I'm gonna give you just a small understanding of how the storylines go. Of course, except Smuggler, because I haven't played the Smuggler. So Jedi Knight storyline is a generic hero story, like hero who can save the world and save the day. It's okay, but pretty cliched and boring for me, but it's pretty good story. There is a Jedi Consular, which is really enough more a force based. This is not weird, but more political story, which is pretty weird. There's a Republic Trooper, which is generic war story about the squad, etc, etc. And the Smuggler I haven't done. As for the Empire side, there is Sith Warrior, which is incredible story of rise to power. There's Sith Inquisitor, which is a bit weak. It is all about the dark side of the force and becoming a powerful force user. There is a Bounty Hunter, which is very great story of rising to the fortune and glory, which is more towards the Mandalorian type of the gameplay. And there is an Imperial Agent, which is an amazing spy story, and I can safely say it is the best storyline of the entire game. Overall story is simply amazing, and if you want to go through it, I highly suggest you to go through all the storylines, because you are going to see all the sides of the war going between Empire and Republic, and all the different sides on all the different planets, and it is simply stunning and it's simply amazing. You need to go through it, and because it's absolutely free, you literally have nothing to lose. But what about the gameplay? How it plays? What it's like to play this game? Will you get bored by playing this game? Well, to be fair, it is still gameplay-wise a very standard MMORPG, and it is top targeting based. It is not an action combat. It's pretty World of Warcraft-ish, but a pretty old version of World of Warcraft style of gameplay, and it is not very fun if you don't like the MMORPG style game. If you like this type of game, then you're gonna have a blast, because just story alone will carry you through the entire game, and you will simply love it. As for the gearing system, it's pretty amazing. You love gearing system, but it's more towards the high level characters, not the low level, so it's still good. As for how equipment will look, it's simply amazing. Again, it's a very generic MMO, the gameplay wise. If it was not for the story, and if it was not for the universe, it would have been pretty average game. But because there is so much to do in this game, because there's so much explanation and so much story behind everything, that simply elevates the average gameplay to the great gameplay, because you have so much things to do in this game that you will simply get lost. Except for the storylines, main storylines, every single planet has their own planetary storyline. So you have 8 planetary storylines, basically. Not 8, you can have like every single planet has their own planetary storyline that you can play with, either for the Republic side or an Empire side. You have a flashpoints, which is basically raids. I don't remember exactly how many flashpoints, but there are more than a dozen flashpoints, which has all of them has their own story, and Empire and Republic have their own sides of the story. So you will have like different styles from the Empire and from the Republic. There are operations, that is 8 and 16 players type of raids, which is more big scale and more difficult parts. There are war zones, which is PvP. There are PvP arenas. There are guilds. There are guild invasions. There's so many things to do that you will not get bored by playing this game. And because there is so much story behind everything you do in this game, you will simply love doing everything in this game and you will not get bored by doing all of it. Now let's talk about style and the graphics of the game. Well, to be fair, this game is pretty old looking. It's not that great and beautiful looking, and it's more like a cartoonish type of graphic, and it's not that amazing looking. It was not great looking when it came out, and now it's not that great looking as well because it's pretty dated, pretty aged, and I don't say that it's bad looking. No way, shape or form. It looks pretty okay, but if you're expecting a stunning graphics from this game, or if you're expecting something like Jedi Fallen Order type of gameplay, no, you will not gonna get this because this game looks pretty generic, and because of this, it can be run practically on every computer and like even the older computers because the game is pretty old and it did not update its graphics for quite a lot of time. I'm pretty sure they never updated graphics. It looks exactly the same as it was before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Overall, should you play this game in 2020 or should you just ignore it and go to like other Star Wars IP or anything else? Well, to be fair, since 2011, since the Star Wars Old Republic, there was no Star Wars game as deep in story and lore as this game. This game has more stories and lore than every cinematic or cartoons or whatever that came on the big screen or whatever that came on the computer games, except of the books. This game has more story than every one of those things combined. There's so many different things in this game that you will most likely get lost and will not have any idea what to do in this game because it is so immense. And while playing each and every storyline, despite being on the same planets with every single class, going through the same sequence, same planets, in the same order, you'll still find every single planet a little bit different compared to your class because every single planet will treat you and your class differently. You will be treated completely differently as an Imperial agent. You will be treated completely different as a Jedi Consular. You will get completely different as Sith Warrior, and you will get completely different as a Trooper because it is a completely different storyline. And every single story, every single class has their story based on their capabilities. You will not see an Imperial agent or a Trooper or Republic Trooper that can easily defeat Sith Warriors without breaking a sweat because it's not how it should be. And it's amazing. Through the entire Republic Trooper storyline, you probably fight, like in story-wise, probably fight 1 or 2 Sith. That's it. And you are not even fighting the top level Sith, or like very average or very medium level Sith. Because canon-wise, it would not make any sense that Trooper can defeat Sith Warriors with ease. So for that reason, it's very thoughtful that they did not include this in the game. And you will see the Jedi defeating Sith left and right, the Sith defeating Jedi left and right, but not Imperial agents, not Troopers, not bounty hunters, because it's not how the canon would work. And plus, with a DLC, you are getting plus additional the same amount of game that you had before that. It's a shame that in the DLC, not every class had their own storylines. Like you have divided storylines between Empire and Republic, and some DLC even have only one storyline for both Republic and Empire. So it's a bit of shame, but still, it's pretty good and it's great enough for you to go through it. Overall, if you're interested in the answer of whether this game is worth to play in 2020, absolutely yes. You have nothing to lose to play first 8 classes storylines. Go through it. If you like this game, if you like the storylines, probably this game just deserves that only one-time $15 payment to just unlock everything in the game and just go through it, because the limitation that they give to you on the free, even though it might sound pretty daunting at first, if you like to play the storylines, if you want to get into the story, if you don't want to create guilds or like be very big in the game, you will be just fine. I've been playing for this game for free for the past few months now, for the past few weeks, and I haven't felt any problem just yet, because on the higher levels, I'm pretty sure I will feel it because we have a credit caps and something like that, but on lower levels, on first 50 levels, without any problem, without breaking any sweat. On the higher levels, if you are playing on the higher levels, that probably you're committed to it, it, and then yes, the subscription to this game would be worth it. So until then, just play it for free and you'll have no problems with this game. Well, this was it for today. Do you play the Star Wars Old Republic in the year 2020? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to join our Discord server. Maybe we could play the game together. Well, this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.